Welcome to Innovation Alchemy. My name is Adam Castle. I am your host, and this is the podcast that explores the magic, the mess, and the mastery of innovation and those who are bold enough and brave enough to build it. Now, before we get started today, I want to give a shout out to our amazing producer, John, and the team at ClearRock. If you've been following along with the podcast these last few years, ClearRock Studios in Windsor has been making us sound good and maybe look good for over the last couple of years, and we are so grateful to have them on their team. Now, this series of podcasts and this episode that you're about to watch today is part of a series that focuses in on our annual ScaleUP Accelerator. The ScaleUP Accelerator brought to you by the Government of Ontario and Libro Credit Union, as well as FedDev Ontario. Now, ScaleUP is a 6-month accelerator program that focuses on companies that are in that sweet spot going from 0 to 1. And so a lot of the questions today are going to be around that 0 to 1 phase. And you might be asking, what in the heck is 0 to 1? And I'm very glad you asked, because 0 to 1 is that point where a business goes from idea to impact. It starts to have real things like real customers, real challenges, and real constraints. And so when we're talking to these startups, they're at that point where real is becoming really tough. And so we're really excited to have these conversations today to dive into that very specific stage in a startup life cycle and have you learn along with us. So thank you so much and enjoy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the next in our series interviewing our ScaleUP Accelerator participants. Today, I'm joined by Tony Gale from Decades Development and his project, MyProjectWorld. Tony, thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So, Tony, your background involves working on some of the most complex infrastructure challenges that our country has ever faced. And this is a space, like all sort of advanced manufacturing spaces, it's unforgiving, it's highly complex, and it takes a very unique eye for detail. So I'm curious to dive in with this conversation of just how you've started to tackle, making this whole process, this whole industry a lot more efficient. And we'll start with, for someone outside of the construction world, what is your platform, MyProjectWorld? What does it do, and what is it unlocking for project managers?
The platform is true that the construction industry and it's getting more and more advanced. And it's more and more cost overruns.
Yeah.
So I've taken my experience and basically what I've used over the years to enhance my own productivity, I've decided to commercialize my knowledge base.
Okay.
So I've built a very extensive knowledge base. And with the advancements in AI, built AI directly into that platform.
Really cool. So you added a second brain for yourself, essentially.
Yes. And the advantage is that my platform is built on constructability logic.
Okay.
Right? It takes a materials quantity and tells you the optimum ways of installing it, building it, commissioning it. And what it tells you and what it builds for you is directly reference to Canadian standards, construction standards, concrete rebar standards, commissioning standards, and welding standards. There's over 300 different standards that's built into the AI.
That's What's amazing to me is that your mind contained all of those in the first place, and now you've built this opportunity for other people to be able to apply those really proactively within their work.
It's the live knowledge base that connects the estimating to the planning to the cost evaluation and then the live updates, the live analysis of cranes, equipment, materials, the cost flow, procurement, vendor data, shipping dates, expediting. And these, when they come together in one platform that is visible, what was before impossible because the technology wasn't there for a person to be able to evaluate it at one time.
Yeah.
It's now become instantaneous with the AI, the large learning model.
Which is unreal when you think about it in terms of being able to have that much visibility into something, as you said, it's something that's becoming increasingly more complex. So why was now the right time to do this? It wasn't, I can imagine it, not just the technology aspect of it. Why is now the right time to change construction?
Well, right now, Canada is pushing for infrastructure projects.
Yeah.
Major projects. I've all heard of the nation building, which is in my ballroom. And 2 years ago, the technology wasn't there to do this.
Right.
Now, as AI has advanced, it's some of the most amazing technology built within the right platform, but it's still built within the right constraints.
Right.
It's built in the constraints of the knowledge library. So to eliminate the downfalls of AI.
Right.
The hallucinations is eliminated, and it can quote from the manual, the paragraph, and explain why it told you what it's telling you to do.
That's really important. When you think about AI, we talk about it a lot of, there is a GPT aspect. There's the general purpose technology to it. But sometimes that broadness doesn't lend itself to predictability, to safety, to trust. And so you've built something kind of on the flip side of that. I'm curious, in simple terms, what does that all unlock on the job site for me as a worker on one of these major infrastructure projects?
It unlocks definition, clarity of what you have to do next and why you should do it. Right? So once the worker understands why he's doing a certain task and what is next, then that gives him confidence.
Right.
Right? And it is a tremendous cost saving. And the UI is completely unique. The user interface, when you talk to an avatar and ask the avatar to filter for the cranes, 100-ton crane, it can do it automatically and email you the result or send the result to the vendor. It can also do the analysis of critical path, and it can add activities and answer your questions. Not only just answer your questions verbally, but make the changes in the schedule, in the cost, and reevaluate the overall project plan.
That's
live.
So impressive and so useful, right?
Yeah, it eliminates that communications of talking to different departments, different people, where you can instantaneously send out your results and get the validation.
And that's really interesting that, I asked you right before we started on camera what the biggest, out of my own curiosity, what was the hardest part about the job of, working on these massive infrastructure projects. And you'd said like communication is so key. So to have this tool that then unlocks that, provides transparency and instantaneous information so that decisions can be made, gotta imagine that that's pretty transformative.
Because it goes across so many fields, like there's so many examples that I could give, like, even with testing, like a mod yard doing pneumatic testing, not realizing the expansion or the zoning that has to be done for safety.
Right.
The AI factored this in and told me that I have to spread out my testing because of the safe zones. I can't do them in parallel.
Right.
As where the original vendor schedule had everything in parallel. And because of the safety requirements, it identified that, which was a big save.
Well, of course,
for the mod.
It was. That's really interesting that as humans, we're almost trained from school age to not be really great to see the whole picture on things, right? Like we get really granular into our work, into our roles, into the specificities of what we do. But this AI can kind of come up top and say, like, here's how everything's interconnected and here's how it's going to interact potentially. So avoid some risk or mitigate those risks, right?
Yeah, the database for a human being is just, you can't comprehend it. Right? You can't comprehend the scheduling along with the planning, the commissioning, the vendor data, the design.
Yeah.
From, a field execution work package from a safety perspective. To have that all encompassed under one platform is the reason why I learned how to program in the first place.
Right.
Because I was working with so much data that I couldn't physically manage it. Excel just couldn't cut it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. That's a big spreadsheet you're dealing with.
I've maxed out Excel formulas at 7,500 characters, trying to, just to understand the different scenarios of what ifs.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
New technology it's hard to adopt. Like big industries with really complex problems find it really difficult to adopt these new types of things. How are you combating that, and how are you looking to target that adoption kind of curve with this product?
Well, that's true. I worked on projects with Oracle and Primavera where they made so many custom changes that they can't upgrade to the new release. And because these platforms were natively built on these systems, they're trying to integrate AI into their system as where I'm building my system with AI.
That's the foundation of it.
With the foundation is built into the foundation of it. So I can expand and grow exponentially as for where they're trying to solve in-house problems with how do they integrate with the customer base they have, and how do they train and how do they use it.
So to speak, the UI of AI, that natural ability to have a conversation with your technology, will really start to help drive that adoption in that technology. So it's not learning a new system; it's talking to a thing, right? A personified thing, much in the same way, you would, the project manager or someone else within the value chain there.
Yeah, the avatar itself, you can't tell that it's not a live person. Right. And it's analytics. When I do a demo, most people are left speechless. They are concerned. Right. It's like, where's my job going? Like, this is the future. It's like Star Trek. Where you talk to the computer and it gives you the analysis, does the reports, emails it, and provides you the insight that you need. But then again, it's very important to realize that it's an analysis. It's not authority.
Right.
So it doesn't actually make the decision. Right. It's up to the person, the planner, the scheduler to validate it. It just gives you the analysis at light speed to make them decisions quick and to interact with encompass the other parts of the project. Right.
And I imagine speed in today's world and in the state of construction, the state of our infrastructure projects, it's everything, because that lowers the cost. It increases, efficiency and efficacy of those projects.
But when something goes wrong and you have massive a workforce of 3,000 to 5,000 people in your field, what to do, how to do workarounds, how to keep your critical path,
of course,
in focus and not have multiple critical paths because of, shipments got delayed that didn't show up on time or something, broke in the field. The most executives, corporations, when you're dealing with the directors, they don't want to focus on the details.
Right.
But AI can do both. It can give you the AI analysis to the director, and it can tell the foreman exactly what to do.
Right.
With the details of that piece of pipe, of where to substitute from another materials list.
Yeah.
That's not on critical path. Where to pull labor from that's not going to affect the overall project.
I got to imagine that duality, its ability to do both, to talk at the high level, but also to the direct boots on the ground, and the fact that it's using the same standardized knowledge base to do both. That's an incredibly powerful confluence of things.
And the knowledge base is just from my experience and my partner's experience, but it's from, developed institutions over the years.
Of course.
Canadian Standards Institute, Canadian Structural Steel Institute, Canadian Concrete Institute, and their insights and their best practices is built into it. So it's the knowledge base is validated.
Yeah.
Right. It is.
Yeah, and it's people's knowledge, right? Like it's real experience, which is interesting. I know that you're building this out. You have some really interesting partnerships that are kind of on the go. What have some of those partnerships that you've launched or you're involved with? How have they helped kind of this end product that's now ready for commercialization?
The projects that I'm on is I've been asked to fix things. Right? They've gotten to points where we can't do this. Mm-hmm. How can you do it? As soon as I illustrate that I can do it with this software, then there's an immediate acceptance.
Right. Because
you're going from something you don't have to something now you have, and something that's validated. So I'm finding it's easy buy-in. The consultants are usually energetic about it, excited about it. That this, because not only does the software analysis do it on constructability,
right,
but I also have the entire government tender database built into the software with over 1.4 million contracts.
Wow.
So it's able to trend like upcoming work, like future work for companies, and also trend how they should or who their competitors are, and even the overruns that their competitors has had.
Amazing. It sounds like you've created something really, really special. This program is closing, right? ScaleUp is almost at its end. You're in your final stretch. We still obviously have pitches to go. But what is one thing or a few things that you feel more clear or stable about as you're coming out of this program versus when you came into it?
Well, my background has been heavy technical background. My business approach hasn't been, meaning the broader terms of how to launch an international company whereas the expertise falls within, and I've learned within WEtech, is how to, present them and how to approach a business person versus approaching a technical person.
Yes, yeah.
Right? And how the business is sound, and that its model is what you would expect.
Right.
Like, I didn't know how to build the business model.
Yeah.
And when I got involved and learned what the right approach was, then it was easy to structure my company, to be the most successful.
Yeah. I can imagine between that new lens that you have to apply to this business model with your lens of being able to think holistically at a systems level, it just creates such a really interesting kind of amalgamation of skill sets. So very cool, and we're so excited to be able to keep watching this as it grows. And of course, program ends, but WEtech is not going anywhere. We're still here to support, and we can't wait to continue on the journey with you and cheering you on and coming up beside you as you do it. So thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Awesome. We'll see you next time.